This is Nix from IGN, and we will be taking you through One Piece Unlimited World Red. This game is for PlayStation 3, Vita, Wii U, and 3DS. And we will be starting with a save that already has a portion of the game unlocked, but not too deep in, so we won't get in any spoilers. There's a main story that you can play through, and there's actually a more difficult second Game Plus version of the story that you can play through once you've beaten it already. And there's also the Battle Coliseum, which you saw earlier, that has some survival matches, boss battles, a couple of surprises, remix of the game in an arena. Here's the main game. There's Luffy, and this is sort of a Zelda-like town that you start off in. We can explore the town. There are people that you can talk to in the game. We'll actually run down here and talk to this person. This person runs the restaurant, but because it's all boarded up, we can't actually buy anything at the restaurant. And what you would do once you've talked to that person is you would go back to the inn, and if you have enough items collected from the quest, then you would unlock the restaurant, and that would give you some bonus points and other things in the game. The cool thing about this area is that Monkey has his Gum Gum rocket, which shoots him across the stage. It's a super quick travel all across what's called Transtown, this village. And there are things to find in here. I think Usopp's over here. Oh, here's a treasure chest that I found that I can open. Yeah, it gave me some golden rice, which I have no use for now. There's a balloon that I can collect. Can I collect it? There we go. So I collected a balloon, some golden rice. You can see this. Let me get to another view over here. This area over here, the bridge is actually, there's no bridge over to it, but this second area of the game unlocks later, and it has some mini games and other events that you can play with. You can see the building equipment is actually out, and later on you will unlock that bridgeway. What's this guy have to say? Yeah, who cares? You can smash items in the world and find things to collect. We'll be doing that quite a bit. Monkey also has a net. Is he going to load it? There it goes. There's a net that he can use to capture animals that are around in the stages. He also has a fishing rod that he can go fishing in the lake at certain areas. We're now going to load up one of these story battles and see if we can get to a boss. Oh, let's customize our characters first. This is one of the confusing things that I wrote about in my review. There's the item words. You can set the item words, but that's different from the custom words. And there's a whole different third type of word. And there's also the voice, which is something different. So there's a lot of things that you can customize on characters, which is neat, but it takes a while to understand it. And even once you've played it for a while, some of the different things get confusing. Also, the minis aren't super intuitive. They don't tell you exactly what things are supposed to do, although if you are familiar with role-playing games, it becomes possible. So, you can see that I have played through 2 of the story sequences. We are going to go to this third story sequence here, and I am actually going to change my team. You can have up to 2, you can have up to 3 members, and you don't actually even have to have Luffy every time. I'm going to only do 2 members. I'm going to take Usopp with me. Chopper is a healer. Frankie does a lot. Actually, let's change that. Let's have Frankie there. And Zoro has his swords that he plays through, but I'm only going to take the 2. That will make it so that it's a little easier to see what's going on in battle. With 3 players running around in the stage at a time, 2 of the characters are computer controlled usually. It gets to be really chaotic. It actually gets to be a little easy depending upon what difficulty level you're playing on and where you are in the map. This is the 3rd episode of the game, and you can see what the game looks like. This is one of the things that I said about the game in the review, was that it looks pretty nice, and this is a particularly nice looking stage. The interesting thing about this game is that you will be meeting up with characters that you have seen in the One Piece manga and anime, and I won't tell you why that happens, But it's pretty cool that you actually get to fight with a lot of the bosses and friends that you have made along the way in the game. So we will come through here and smash some things. One of the nice things about the fights is that there's a lot of characters to fight, but realistically, you can skip through some of the bosses. There's that waterfall again. These characters are just there, but there are times that you are locked into the battle. You can see by the purple bounding lines that now I have to defeat these guys or else I'm in trouble. So, the fighting sequence. Typical punch, kick, different techniques. Luffy has some crazy techniques that he can use. There's also, you have probably seen that pops up, the deflect, or there's a parry system in the game, and it changes depending upon what is being fired at you and what is happening. Sometimes you're just guarding, sometimes you are avoiding attack. These are bullets that are being shot at me, so I can actually, if it works out, you can see, oop, I just got hit instead, but that didn't help. Alright, let's try that again, but you can see that I deflected that shot. So now I'm going to just beat some folks up. You can see over on the right over there is a counter that is encouraging me to do different types of moves. So if I do a should have countered that. If I do 4 attacks in a row, it will mark that as a hit. It is also suggesting that I do a mid-air attack. I got that. 2 mid-air attacks. Mid-air attack with a secondary move. Now I'm in break, and if he doesn't destroy everybody, Frankie, you can see that I'm actually doing more damage to enemies at a time while it's in the break mode. We'll dispatch with these guys. Are they all gone? They are not all gone. There are also super attacks that you can have if you fill up the gold bar down there on the left. So I'm going to unleash one of those super attacks and finish this round. And collect some coins because they drop some stuff for me. And go through the gate to the next area. Again, these enemies are just here to level up your stats, to add to the game. When you're first starting the game, you want to beat up everybody that you can, but eventually once you start to just explore the game, once you start to look for things that you actually want to accomplish and find, once you set yourself out to find yourself, say, a wood block or some items, which can only be found in certain stages, some oil, which we didn't have earlier, some gunpowder, you can walk right past the enemies, though you will be locked into bounding blocks. Why don't I do this, though? Why don't I switch to Frankie? And now I'm playing a totally different character who is tougher to control in this very busy environment. He is a power character. Missiles and things. Everybody has jump attacks, everybody has different moves that they can pull off. You can see also on the right over there, I can actually switch through things. The rod and fishing net is no good, obviously, in battle, but I can give myself a health power-up, and I can use one of these strong words to give myself more fighting power. So now I'm powered up. Frankie has some cool attacks and some cool moves. This, where he builds a cannon that you can jump into and snipe people, or fire cannonballs at people. So one of the features that I talked only a little bit about in my text review, because it's easier to show in video form, is the co-op feature, which is available on all 4 versions of the game. On consoles, all you need to do is plug in a second controller and press start, and you are able to play the game with a friend controlling the second character. And they have a split screen. On the portables, you will be playing over ad hoc LAN. This mode is only available locally. There's no online play, and realistically, playing 2-player, there's not enough in the combat to really make it a 2-player game, I don't believe. So it makes the game pretty easy, and wasn't a great feature in my eye, but there are some people who like to play with other friends. Doesn't matter what the game is, they just like to play with friends. So that is available to you. In general, the combat is a lot of punching and kicking and attacking, and even though you can swap characters, it does get routine after you've played through all the 9 characters on all the stages and you've gone through and tried to collect everything that you can collect. But I still thought that the game was a lot of fun and looked really nice doing it. So I gave it a 7.0.